Good evening mga kalaro and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro channel that talks about a different kind of game. The reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for 25 years, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak, Joel Parcon, and with me as always is Juxtapotito, Joao Atienza. What's up, Joao? How are you doing?
I woke up like this. Uh, Good morning.
Anyway, tonight we will give our thoughts about season 48, episode 6, entitled Doing the Damn Thing. But before we begin, do consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you get updated whenever we come up with new episodes on this channel. And for those of you who don't want to have to look at our mugs and just want to listen to our soothing voices, you can go wherever you get your podcasts and search for Council of Titos. And so, without further ado, let's begin doing the damn thing. This episode for me, yeah, it was basically about two people.
Mm.
It was Say and Star for me. What about you? What jumped out from this
Uh,
episode for you?
Star. I mean,
Star.
Star. It's the Star episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, we didn't like her, and now we
Mm-hmm.
like her.
Now we do. Now we do. A lot of it stems from her selflessness, quote unquote, in giving Eva the idol in the previous episode, and that confession about her uh understanding Eva's condition or Eva's circumstance because she also has relatives in the spectrum, and
Mm.
it was even fortified with this episode, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that really got me was when she was talking Cedric off of the ledge.
Mm.
Like, well, where we got the episode title, very good episode
Mm-hmm.
title because
Yeah.
it's like it highlights well who was the star of the episode.
My pointer title for when talking about Star is superstar. She is the superstar of this episode.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, we first got the quotable quotes from her after they found out that the merge was coming. Right? She had
Yeah.
that quaint little song, the boats are on the way, and I even like that whole thing about day I'm at peace. We can do war tomorrow.
Yeah. That was another line that could have been a really good
Yeah,
episode title, right?
yeah, we can do war tomorrow.
We can do war tomorrow. Um, the other thing that kind of stood out to me was um how in a way Star and Charity were getting the same sort of edit, right?
Mm,
In the sense that they were both like cast as a little bit villainous.
mm-hmm.
um they weren't getting as much screen time obviously as like uh sorry, I keep thinking the graduates, the postgraduates, the California girls, and you know the bigger players, which in a way made her a candidate to be the mergatory boot,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we I hesitate to say thankfully, but for the sake of Star, like thankfully she um got the face turn
Mm.
midway into the season.
Yeah, yeah, that was a great face turn, and you contrast that with Charity, who sort of doubled down on being the villain, right?
Yeah.
She started making. I mean, we all know that it's you don't really make a lot of moves pre-merge, but now that they are, well, at least they were at mergatory. Uh, she started she started making her moves, starting with Eva, and then and yeah, the suspicion on Charity from Eva, and also I alluded to it in our last episode. Yeah, it's justified. There's a
Mm.
reason why she wasn't reacting too much to Eva telling her story, and when Star gave her idol to Eva, she had what she said, the way that she reacted was a little too fake, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's because the gears in her head were already working as to how she can get out of it, like how she can get out of it on top.
Yeah. Survivor is such a I'm glad that I'm probably never going to play that game because it is just I don't know because in some other circumstances that would have been the exact right move, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
um you know we always hear players saying that the game like never stops.
Mm.
And yeah, the game never stops, but there are times where you're supposed to pretend that the game stops.
Mm.
And this was that time. And I suppose the great survivor players are the ones that can realize that we can have a human moment as well as like play the game as opposed to being like 100% game mode or 100% all right, we're stepping out of the game. Unless with this particular season there was the need to step out of the game. But I don't know. We've also had moments where um in the new era, off the top of my head, I'm thinking about High and Romeo, where
Mm.
they
Mm.
had a moment where they kind of bonded over, initially being in the closet and coming to terms with their sexuality and all of that sort of thing. And that was like a very nice out of the game moment. But like at the end of the day, it was still like High that had at the end of the day, they never really got along strategically. So I I don't know. It's how do you put this? It's difficult. It's difficult, and I don't
Mm.
think and I'm glad that I'm probably never going to play that game.
Well, yeah. We have been seeing here, especially in this season, there have been a lot of these moments. We've been shown a lot of these moments where the players are stepping out of the game to well we had that moment between Joe and Eva, and then in this episode we have, and then after that we had Star not really caring about the game. She wanted to reward Eva because she was the one who figured out the the contraption, right? And then in this episode we had Star comforting Cedric. And do you think that that's like the ongoing, that's the theme that's coming out? Because we also have the emerging noble alliance, right? The alliance of the strong, and they want to win with honesty and no backstabbing. Is that something that's coming out? Is that like the emerging theme of Survivor 48?
Well, it's a couple of things there. Well, first off, um, I don't know like if Star's intentions were outside of the game and altruistic and all of that stuff, but admittedly, what she did and the reason it resonated, I think, with a lot of the online survivor community was because it wasn't only a great human moment, but also really good gameplay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like giving Eva the
Mm.
idol is great gameplay because if there's something that we know from the Lagi tribe or whatever tribe they were in originally, um, the people that didn't get along were Eva and Star, and this
Mm-hmm.
is Star, extending an olive branch, which is great, like social game stuff, especially for somebody like Eva that values things like integrity, honesty, whatever. That's a very like sportsmanly thing to do. A sports
Mm-hmm.
person, sports
Mm-hmm.
pearly thing to do. Um, yeah, like uh, tangentially, um, we should get rid of like the whole man woman thing when it comes to language. We should just replace it with per. You know, like chairman, chairwoman. It sounds weird. Just call them chairpers because they're all persons. If we really want to like degender our language,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a very sports pearly thing to do, where um the person that solved the puzzle should get the reward,
Yeah.
and that's something that Eva kind of values, and so I suppose Star was able to mend that sort of
Mm.
bond that was severed in the pre-merge portion of the game. And at the same time, the fact that it's kind of public that she gave Eva the idol um puts more of a target on Eva
Mm-hmm.
and takes a little bit of the heat off of Star, who,
Mm-hmm.
if we believe if we believe the uh edit in the pre-merge, Star has been shown to be kind of um a person who's under the spotlight in in a way, right? Like there is a lot of heat on
Yeah.
her, at least in the tribe,
Yeah.
right? So
Not no one
take
really kind of like was able to jive with her.
yeah, so she's not like anybody's number one or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
she's able to kind of take some of the heat off of her, which is really good strategic play. So, um she's got that really good social play, and she's also got a strategic play, while at the same time being able to step out of the game and be like, yo, Eva, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I think that's what made what she did just so good, because it was both a great human moment, but also a very good gameplay moment.
Mm-hmm. If that
Um,
was the intention,
if that was the intention, could
or
be,
unintentionally a good gameplay move, right?
yeah, kind of like Rachel Lamont's use of the shot in the dark as a way to
Mm.
gauge the reaction. That wasn't something that she thought was a big deal at the time, right? She didn't bring it up in tribal council, even though all of the collective internet was kind of losing their minds over it as something that was one of the greatest like gameplay moves or whatever in the new era, using the shot in the dark. Um, she didn't think it as something worthy to be brought up in tribal council. So it could be that sort of thing as well, where this is a really
Mm.
good gameplay move that isn't perceived by the person that did it as being um that great a move, as it were. But either way, it still stands that, like you said, it might be an unintentionally, brilliant
Mm.
gameplay move. At least that's how I perceived it.
Mm.
As it was like both great gameplay and like great of stepping out of the game. Same with Cedric, right? Because like he was obviously down in the dumps, and she was like, yo,
Mm.
we got this,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, because well, not until either Star wins the whole thing, or she gets voted out and gets interviewed, we won't really know if that those things are intentional, right?
Yeah,
But she does she does seem to me as someone who values social connections,
yeah,
and I think especially the interaction that she had with Cedric, that I think was a pure social interaction. But just because she is a social person, it gains her social capital as well in the game, because
yeah,
now Cedric knows that she's got his back, right? And then that
yeah,
becomes a social connection, and yeah, it's just her trying to reach out and make connections. I think, and I don't think that it's an intentional gameplay move. It's just Star being Star, and yeah, she's sort of like say in the fact that they're both a little loud, right? They're both
yeah,
a little loud. They're both a little outspoken, but Star has a way of making herself endearing to those around her as time goes on, because she's too kooky. She's sort of like Carol in that way.
mm,
She's too kooky that no one takes her too seriously, right? Whereas Say wants to be taken seriously. She's playing the game and she's being loud and she's like all of these things. She's being outspoken. She's like, and she said, I think I don't know if it was a confession in the first few episodes or if it was in a video prior to the season where she said that her mouth, her open honesty might get her in trouble in the game, and it is getting her in trouble in the game, right?
yeah. It now makes a lot of sense, right? Because like a lot of the press in and around Star had her as being a very like sociable person,
Yeah.
and we didn't get to see very much of that in the pre-merge, which now it makes a lot more sense. A lot of the stuff that people were saying, like, yeah, she was the sort of life of the party type person, um, which means if she makes it to final tribal, she's winning,
Mm-hmm.
right? because the sort of conventional wisdom in Survivor's new era is the more sociable person at Final Tribal is the one that tends to win.
Mm-hmm.
So uh she's not making it to Final Tribal, I don't think, because people are going to identify that.
True.
Um,
True.
although, here's here's hoping because she certainly got um a lot of new fans in
Mm-hmm.
in this past episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
So uh there's that. And juxtaposing her against Say, something that the edit is showing us is a depth of character in Star that we don't see with Say. Uh how old are they? Let
I
me
think that Star is a little older. And just to go back to what
No,
you were
bro,
saying
Star
earlier.
is younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's 2 years younger.
Oh,
Say
then
is
say.
29, Star is 27.
Oh, okay. Okay. I guess the sports like really makes her look a lot older. Anyway, just
Yeah.
going back a little bit to what you were saying earlier. Um, you were saying that there is a chance that Star there's a huge chance that Star won't make it to the final tribal. But if we are going to go to the philosophy that winners do have an edit, and so far midway in the season, that's when stars started rising, right?
Hmm.
And also in this episode, I clocked this when it came out and when I first watched it, and then when I rewatched it, I took it down. She did get a sort of winner quote, and it's in that same sequence. It's in that same moment where she was welcoming the rest of the tribes, waiting for them to come in. She said, "Relationships build, relationships end, and then you make it to the end, with either $1 million or some broken hearts." That is a winner's quote for
Oh yeah, that is hmm. All right. All right. So hmm, thinking about canonical winner picks now.
me. Well, I still do have. You got who do you have? You got Mary? Is it Mary? No. Who do you have? Kyle?
I don't know. I've lost track. I've lost track. I have completely lost track.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah. So you've got Star. Her stock is rising, and she is the superstar of this episode. And yeah, you've got Say. Up until now, she is still being portrayed as really unaware. We've been talking about how it is the players who it's the castaways who are aware of their place in the game that get far in the game.
Mhm.
But say for some reason is just so unaware of a lot of things, right? She
Yeah.
immediately hates on Cedric after the vote, right? Because when she saw her name, I'm sure that she immediately thought, "Oh, it was Cedric,"
Yeah.
right? Right, and then thinking that the reunion that she was gonna have with Mary was something about allies getting back together, and then Mary was like, I had knots in my stomach when thinking about seeing Say again. I did not want to relive those days and everything, right? And then she
Yeah.
had this whole thing about she chastises Mary in a previous challenge for celebrating after the win. And then after she eats in the merge feast, which she didn't really earn, she just found an advantage which earned her the merge feast, right? She starts
Mm.
gloating, enumerating the food. And I don't know, there's she's being portrayed as someone really who does not know. Well, she has said it, that she just does not know how to stop talking.
Yeah. Gosh. It's that was so funny. One of the best edits of the season, and in a season that's been full of really good
Mm,
editing. That that Say and Mary back to
mm.
back was that
The
was
juxtaposition, using
yeah.
your term, right?
Yeah.
The different
Uh,
points of view. It lends to one of those plays that we always used to see in the university where you always had two sides of the same story, right? And
mm,
then apparently one side does not think of it the same way as the other side.
yeah, like yeah. I was gonna start talking about Kutagawa and like Inagro, Rashomon, all of that sort of
Mm.
thing.
Mm.
And in a way, that's what Survivor is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have that whole thing going on. The other thing that you mentioned earlier was the alliance that was built on trust and honor and all of
Mm.
that. Do you think that's possible?
I actually have a note. I have a note here. I don't know how far this group will get. um, yeah, it well, you we do have really well-meaning castaways this season. I think that David and
Yeah,
Joe are pretty stand-up guys. You've got Eva also. For Eva, it's more out of necessity because it is hard for her to distinguish when a person is lying, right? So she wants people to be truthful. She needs people to be truthful, more or less,
yeah,
right? And then you've got Joe and David who are, yeah, really, you can see it, at the very least in the way that they're being edited. They are stand-up guys. And then the other two, that's where the problem starts. Kyle and Shaheen, because Kyle and Shaheen are gamers. I mean, Kyle
yeah,
has that secret alliance with Camilla, and Shaheen, the entire time he's been talking strategy, right? So I don't
yeah,
know. You've got the core three, yeah. At least at the very least, of those three are going to be solid. But the other two that they have, I don't know. Those guys are more likely to just use the other three as numbers.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what the game is. That's what the edit is trying to tell us, actually, right? Like,
Yeah,
by juxtaposing, um, like
you have to be
Kyle.
true to your name of the show,
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to use the word juxtapose as little as possible,
man.
while at the same time talk about the juxtapositions that exist. It's like a little mini game, right?
Yeah.
You know how some podcasts have those little mini games where there's a secret word that they have to say because like their child or their wife said that you have to say potato at some point during the. I mean, that was it, but that's one of the mini games that I have kind of going on, sort of like below us, the
Mhm.
people mentioned. We'll see how many of them actually show up. That's another one. Trying to use the juxtaposition. Trying to talk about juxtapositions without saying juxtapose.
Juxtaposition.
Yeah, it's like a theater exercise,
Mhm.
uh, where you do weird things. Um,
Anyway, yeah, going back to what you're saying.
yeah, I think that's what the show is telling us by
Mhm.
putting that by sort of pitting those two ideas against each other in sort of the same sequence, right? Like, hey, we are building uh an alliance built on trust, built on honor, etc., etc. And then like a few seconds later, yeah, I have a secret alliance with Camilla, and like ain't nobody gonna know about that, like, and kind of traditional wisdom says that Kyle and Camilla are right,
Mhm.
and the extraordinary claim that you can build an entire game around honor, not being backstabby and not lying and all of that stuff. That is an incredible claim, and if there's a principle that is applicable here, um, it's that uh claim. What's it on like big claims need big proof or whatever. I can't
Oh,
remember I can't remember what the
the actual.
exact wording of it is, but like this is a pretty revolutionary claim in
Mm.
the sense that Survivor hasn't been like this
Ever.
ever.
Yeah, I mean you have like Colby Donaldson's. You have those one or two guys every season who wants to win it, who wants to play with honor. but there's never been a consortium or an alliance of honorable castaways, right?
Yeah. So, the extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Mm,
And
mm,
this is an extraordinary claim, and we're not seeing, extraordinary evidence, at least from the edit point of view, showing us that there is basis in reality for this. Because directly after they say we are going to do this with honor, we we have Kyle being like, hey,
mm,
you know.
mm.
Um, and right a couple of episodes ago, we were all about the Kyle and Camilla, like, oh yeah, they have the cool Secret Alliance, best move of the season, blah blah blah. Um, and so it feels like the edit is showing us that this thing that this Honor Alliance is bound to backstab.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's also showing us that the person that is going to be backstabbed is Joe,
Yeah, unfortunately for my winner.
right?
Yeah.
As a way to protect Eva.
Mm-hmm.
Or they might do the reality show thing where, in order to weaken the biggest threat, you take out their closest ally.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Well, yeah, that was the plan of Charity, right? She wanted to take out Eva to take down Joe,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, then again, we're saying that well, it's bound to happen. I mean, even Jeff Probst alluded to it after that moment that Joe and Eva had. He said he might backstab you in a couple of days, but right now this is what's happening because they stepped out of the game and have all of that. But with the vote of taking out Charity, who Eva and even Joe and yeah, they've sort of painted her as this dishonorable castaway, and technically, so the noble honorable alliance sort of won this episode. That's is that evidence enough that this is this could work?
They're gonna have to backstab each other at some point.
True.
I think that's the thing that we uh kind of have to accept as the reality of
Hmm.
Survivor, you know. Um,
Unless
what's
David, Joe, and Eva take get all the way to final tribal,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
That'd be cool.
They figure out that Kyle and Shoheen are using them as numbers,
Yeah.
and they use those two as numbers.
Which that's quite, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we're going to be honorable except when we don't have to be honorable for the sake of being honorable. One of those, like, this like Survivor is a Machiavellian wet dream in a way, you know.
Mm, mm,
Um yeah, because, like, remember the season that Marianne won, and everybody was waiting for Hoboken Mike
mm.
to talk about how his whole, like, honor thing was part of the social game, and eventually he was gonna have to backstab people, and he really
He
didn't
didn't
realize
own up
that.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This could go in that direction as well,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, the jury composition with, let's assume that, like, say, um like, Joe and Eva end up on the jury and David is in the final tribal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he can use that to get votes from
Get
them.
votes from them. Yeah.
I don't know. Perception is reality.
Perception strand. Going back to your Rashomon, uh, what you were talking about Rashomon. Perception is reality. You don't know. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how far they get. You know, I actually think that maybe Star could be a good addition to that group because especially with how she was portrayed in this episode,
Yeah.
she seems to be an honorable castaway. Although I think the jury, no pun intended, is still out on whether or not she can. they can't accept her as part of that group
Yeah.
because she's a sports spur as well as what you were saying. Yeah, yeah. So she can contribute to in challenges, right? So that's what they're doing. They're putting together the stronger, I mean, physically stronger people together who want to play honestly. And I think that Star might like just don't have any challenges in water. I think that she has an aversion to water, right?
Yeah.
And she can contribute to the team.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, or one of the things that stands in the way of that, which I don't know, how do you think this could play out? Um, we were shown during the tribe swap,
Mm.
was it, that Eva was saying that she's offering up Star on a silver platter. Like, if that gets back to Star,
Mm.
do you
Yeah.
think that's a point of conflict, seeing as they're all like hungry and probably hangry and all of that stuff
Hmm.
out there? Or is there a way that bridge can be like mended?
Well, in the first place, first things first, Eva offering Star up. That's not a very noble thing to do. Uh, right? And second of all, uh, in order for that to be mended, I think that Eva has to tell Star herself. She can't let Star know about it from someone else, right?
Yeah.
If she is all about playing honestly, playing with integrity, playing with honor, she has to tell Star herself. I mean, she has to pick the right moment to do it, but yeah, she's gonna have to do that. We don't wait for someone else to tell Star because that's going to to bring back the whole distrust that Star had for
Yeah.
Eva, right? And yeah, she might just ask for her idol back, right?
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, we last episode we were saying we were waiting for that to come out because it's already merged, and then
Hmm.
yeah, and then the old alliances and the old distrust for Star might come back up because of the old which group are they? It's the old Lagi, right? The old Lagi tribe will get back together, and yeah,
Hmm.
so it's something that it has a huge potential to happen and might just blow up the whole play with integrity, play with honesty, play nobly, right? That alliance.
I'm gonna call this the John Cena season, because it's all about hustle, loyalty, and respect.
And then all of a sudden, you have one of them turning heel, just like John Cena.
There we go. It's the John Cena season.
Uh-huh. The
Survivor
John Cena
48.
season.
The theme is John Cena.
Survivor 48, Cena. Right. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you this. How did you find how mergatory was handled this season? It wasn't because right before it was like whoever wins the challenge, the group that wins the challenge, they're all immune,
Yeah.
right? And then the other six are left to get picked off. This season, we only have one immunity, even if it's mergatory.
Yeah, I feel like this has happened at least one other time in the new era before. But I kind of like it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a throwback, sort of old school, like mix things up a little bit. Like everybody's used to having small tribes, nowhere to hide,
Mm.
blah blah blah. But then all of a sudden, like we have this huge, 13-person tribal council where theoretically you do have places to hide, but it's still a tremendously close vote.
Mm.
So, Survivor, if you're listening and if you're watching, please take that away from this particular episode, right? That
Mm.
it's okay to sometimes have like bigger tribals,
Bigger tribals, yeah.
just to kind of mix things up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because as has been predicted, I don't know if it's a prediction or if it was announced somewhere or if somebody like broke down all of the footage again. Um, The speculation is that there's going to be another split tribal next
Oh.
episode. So it's going to be one of those split tribals where one group comes in and then the other group comes in, and the person that's booted out of the first group does not make the jury, and the person that comes
Mm.
in or that's booted out from the second group is the first juror. So, you know, we're gonna have a lot of those confessionals about like survivor bucket list. Got to make it to the jury. This is big thing. We got to win this like challenge or whatever. So yeah, that's the speculation of what's gonna happen um next week. And you know what? Survivor, fine. It's fine that you do that. Just not every season. You
Yeah.
know, mix things up a little bit. Yeah, there.
Yeah. And mergatory happened. Kyle got the first individual immunity. I like the necklace.
Mhm.
At least it wasn't like sticking out like last season, right?
Yeah,
It it fell right well on. Well, it also might be because of Kyle's physique, but yeah, it fit. It's like Namor from the MCU. It's like something that he would wear, right?
yeah,
The Submariner in Black Panther 2. Yeah, I like the fit of the immunity necklace. I like the merge buff because it's blue. Is that why you're
yes,
wearing blue today?
yes.
I want one. I want to replace this one with a blue one now. So yeah.
Exactly why I'm wearing blue right now.
So yeah, so immunity buff, immunity necklace. That's well and good. In the tribal again, we had another. Well, I'm gonna use your term again. So this takes away from the game, but yeah. Uh, the whole we had another juxtaposition. Say talks about how the tribe, as it was the 13 member tribe, was a dysfunctional family. But then again, Star comes in, talks about how even in your real family, you're not gonna like your grandma Titi and your aunt whoever and whatever. But then again, you're still family, right? And that just for me drove home the point that this was a Say versus Star episode. They highlighted those two and how they are being portrayed and how they answered the same question, right?
Yeah,
And Star was just like raised, while Say is still there,
yeah,
still unaware, and Charity just happens to be the one who got voted out.
yep.
Yeah.
Star puns.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Rising North
yeah,
Star.
North
You
Star. She's the
I love
guiding star. Right? She guided Cedric out of the dark. Right?
it. Say shot for the moon, but Star went for the stars.
Okay. Well, anyway, any other things that stood out to you from this episode?
Um, not really. Other than Star being like really, really the breakout star of the episode. That seems to be um the big thing. Well, there was something else
Hmm.
that I'm currently scrambling to try and remember to ask you, but it escapes me.
It escapes you. Well, it'll come. It'll come. Anyway, so yeah, let's move on to the next portion of our episode, Survivors of the Week. I think that we are unanimous in our Castaway of the Week.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. So she was golden in her screen time, in the screen time that she got. And like I said, even though she's not part of the Noble Alliance, the quote unquote the Milkman Alliance, I think how she acted in this episode makes her worthy of being in that group. Right? Or
Yes.
but then again, maybe she's lucky that she's not. She can thank her lucky stars that she's not part of
Mm.
that. Right? Because I mean, like what we said, they're bound to backstab each other. And her
Yeah.
acting, it might be that. It might be that. There you have this group that claims to want to play the game with integrity, with nobility, with honesty. and they end up backstabbing each other. And then you've got this one person who's not part of that alliance, but is actually playing it with integrity, actually playing it with honesty, right? And then she comes out on top. It might be
and
that. That
and
might be a
and
running
the rest of the honorable uh milk people,
dudes,
because we
milk
have
people,
because
milk
we have
purse.
Eva.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Milk Pearl Alliance. The rest of the Milk Pearl Alliance ends up on the jury, and Star was like,
right.
I was the one that played with hustlety,
Mm-hmm.
loyalty, respect, and
Mm-hmm.
named John Cena. And yeah, the John Cena comes out of nowhere and kicks Jeff in the nuts.
Because he's a heel now.
He's a heel now. Yeah, so Star, the survivor of the week. She got the episode title as well.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, she got the cool moment in the confessional booth where she does little dance
And then drops the pen or
and then
something.
drops the pen. Yeah, like okay, all right,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about yeah? What about goat of the week?
Um,
Are we
say,
also
I guess.
unanimous? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
say, uh, what makes it like doubly um damning, let's say, what makes it doubly damning, I like the alliteration there, is that she got the advantage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She got the advantage, and yet she was like
Did she? Yeah, she
not
didn't.
exactly like you know
Yeah, she
portrayed
didn't. She did.
very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. It was really weird. It was really weird. She got the advantage. Um, and she come. Yeah, you're right. She still comes out of it not looking not looking good. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been watching wrestling.
So she, I don't know. There might be a redemption arc per se. Hopefully there is.
Yeah.
So that she can recover. Yeah, but as it is right now, all indications point to her being her same. I mean, she's being honest to herself. I will have to say that she's being honest to herself.
Yeah.
She is a blunt person. She will say what she thinks. So uh, and that might be what causes her problems, and that is what
Th-
is causing her problems.
There's also a case to be made for Mitch to be the goat of the week, in
Mm,
that
mm,
he was pretty much the only person that was working with
charity.
charity, and now he's basically a straggler.
Mm-hmm,
There's that connection that he made with Cedric, but that really hasn't been followed up on very much. And like, it could be another sort of high Romeo situation where,
mm,
they connected on a personal level, but not so much on a gameplay level, which doesn't bode well
mm-hmm,
for Mitch. Or he could be the person that everybody drags to the end, because like right now, as it stands, he doesn't have any allies on a potential jury.
mm-hmm,
um the person that he connected with is out, and he's a sitting duck,
mm-hmm.
which either means that they're which either means he's in danger, in imminent danger, or he has a clear shot to the end.
That's true. Well, whether or not he wins, that's another question. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't say a clear shot to the
yeah, I know, I
million,
know.
I said a
Yeah, I know,
clear
I know,
shot to the
I
end.
know, I know. So he's basically looking like a Romeo right now.
Basically,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah. That Survivor, the sort of Survivor lexicon is kind of a funny thing, right? Because in most cases, when somebody says you have a clear shot to the end,
Mm-hmm.
that's a guaranteed victory.
Yeah.
But sometimes in sort of Survivor lexicon, when you say that somebody can make it to the end, that's a clear shot to losing,
To because you're not winning, you're just getting
because
to
you're
the
not
end.
winning the million. It's sort of like the word goat, right? Like,
Mm,
everybody else talks about goat as being the
mm,
greatest of all time, yet
mm-hmm.
here we are, you know, standing and sort of defying what kids these days are saying the word goat means because
Mhm.
damn it, we got the word first. You know?
There has one of our the other YouTubers needs to come up with the goatest goats, right? The greatest goats of all time.
Yeah, the goatest
Come up with a
goats.
list, yeah, right? So yeah, we'll wait and see if they ever come out with it. Yeah, with a purple of the week.
Uh, I still have like no idea who Chrissy is.
True. She was one of the people that I was considering. Yeah. As the
Yeah,
purple of the week. Yeah, we really don't know who Chrissy is. She's just like, well, we know she's like a fire lieutenant or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like she hasn't gotten very much content.
Hmm.
Um, so a a more serious, non-joking
Yeah.
purple of the week.
Yeah. Well, mine is also sort of, yeah, it's also serious. Mine is Camilla, although we have in previous episodes we have seen who she is. But in this episode, I think it was on purpose because I think that the producers want to hide the alliance between her and Kyle. They want to hide it for as long as possible. Except for that, we had that one sequence where they were talking about it, but then after that, we don't really hear about them making moves. Right. So yeah. So for me, it's Camilla. So yeah, we're serious with our purples of the week this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something weird happens to us when we record in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. When we
You see how ambiguous we've been with
yeah
time?
with
Are we
time
recording this at
we're
like 11 in the evening? Who knows?
who knows. Well, one thing that we do know is whose line next week's episode is gonna be. First of all, doing the damn thing. Of course, we already mentioned it. It's Star. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it was a pretty good episode title because it
Yeah.
actually sort of made sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then next week, the episode title is Survivor Smack Talk, not a Survivor Smackdown, but yeah.
Mm,
But yeah,
yeah.
Survivor Smack Talk. When we heard it, it's Jeff. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is the mini game that we have. One of the mini games that we have. And Jeff is taking the fun out of it, right? Figuring out whose line is gonna come out of the episode title. Yeah,
Yeah. They're allowed one per season, right?
yeah,
They're allowed one. Jeff gives the what's it
the
per
episode
season?
title.
Gives
But
the episode
yeah,
title per season.
yeah, but I mean, not that it for our game, for the sake of our game, it shouldn't come out of the next week on,
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
right? So yeah,
So
but then again, now what it should have been, what it could have been,
yeah,
the
what it could
episode
have
title.
been. Because I
Yeah.
think I this is one of those situations where what it should have been is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
this was, the I think was like the right episode title
Mm.
for the episode that we got. So, um, why is everything shaped like garlic? Because we had a serious purple of the week. Why is everything shaped like
Mm-hmm.
garlic?
Mm-hmm.
Is is my pick for what it should have been called?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's Eva's line as she went up to the voting booth, right?
Yep.
And until she mentioned it though, I didn't think of it as garlic. I thought of it as like those receptacles where where have I seen it? I've seen it in movies where there are it's like used for either I think it's used as a water container for most things. But then again, some of them use it for like they have like dice come out of it or something. And I saw it in a movie somewhere. I those receptacles because yeah, one thing is like well, it looks like shopao, but it also looks like garlic. It's like
Yeah.
garlic on top, one on top of each other. That's what it looks like. Even the advantage looks like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a
this
theme,
is
and
another
even
theme of the
yeah,
season.
it's and even their tribe flags look like that, right? They don't
So
have flags. They have like those garlic things on top of the other.
it's like Survivor 48 bedrock of Asian cuisine.
Yeah, or yeah, yeah. So maybe they'll have like the food reward might be something Asian.
Or all of a
Uh,
sudden, like Uncle Roger Nigel Ung shows up, like, "Hey, here's like fried rice
Fried
with
rice.
garlic." You know, Or- Survivor wouldn't do that. They're too mean to
Certainly not.
Asians. You
Yeah.
know, Gordon Ramsay is showing up.
Or Jamie Oliver. Uh, yeah, Uncle
Ooh.
Roger's mortal enemy. Anyway, we're for mine. I had a more jokey. It's still a bit serious, but I think it's jokey because of what it the line is. It was Kyle's line, sniffing butts. No, but
Mm.
I don't think that it would be approved as an episode title.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that Kyle did hit it in the head when he said that mergatory was them feeling people out, right?
Yeah.
The general feeling was people were trying to see where they fit in the tribe of 13, and I think that sniffing butts, uh, yeah, encapsulates that feeling.
Yeah, I think Jeff made a mistake by not running with that one as the metaphor that they went with.
Yeah, he went with a party. I don't know.
Yeah.
He went he was playing it safe.
Oh, club condo. Oh, oh, house party. Oh.
House party. Yeah. Yeah.
But
What
sniffing
dance?
butts,
Sniffing butts was there. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like
dude.
dogs.
Yeah, but he likes talking about like balls and stuff. Like he always like takes the opportunity to have this juvenile joke. And this was the perfect opportunity to talk about like the intricacies
Mm-hmm.
of, canine anal exploration. Now
Olfactory
that's a short.
exploration. All right. Any other thoughts about this episode?
Yeah, what was it that he said? Bossa Nova? That's a style of music and not a dance.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know how to dance. Yeah, right. Okay.
Unless I'm mistaken. Let me look that up because I could be chat GPTing everybody and saying something with such confidence yet being exactly wrong. Bossa Nova.
Bossa Nova.
Wait, did he say Bossa Nova? He did say Bossa Nova,
Yeah, I
right?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a style of music.
Yeah. And he was doing the whole, you know, slow dance. Anyway, other thoughts about the episode?
Oh, the what? There was a dance in the 1950s. It
Oh,
was called the Bossa Nova, but it was okay. All right. At least if Wikipedia is to be believed. Um,
maybe Jeff edited Wikipedia.
ooh, conspiracy theory. We can check that out. Right? We can check that out. But yeah. Apparently there was a dance called the
Mhm.
Bossa Nova, but it's more the style of music that
Mm.
people associate with the Bossa Nova, with all the major seven chords and like João Gilberto and like Astrid Gilberto and all of those people. Um, I was named after a bossa nova guitarist, so
Oh, really? No.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So, I guess that's it for this episode.
yeah,
Yeah. It was a nice episode because it showed us. I think that it further developed some plot lines that I think that they want to develop in this season. Yeah, and moving forward, we're gonna see how the Noble Alliance is either gonna make it to the end. Again, make it to the end doesn't mean that they're gonna win it, or they're gonna crack. Right? They're gonna crack, which is more likely than not. Right?
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, mga kalaro, we would greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. At any rate, this has been Joel Parcon.
And I'm Joe.
We hope to see you again on the council soon. Until then, stay safe, mga kalaro. The Titos have spoken.